Hello, everyone. So welcome to Problems of the Egyptian Economy class. I will go first over some logistics, and then we will go over the syllabus and some data resources for the Egyptian economy. Okay, so well that's fine. والله المفروض أكون معاهم كويس بس ما أعرفش الناس بيخشوا هنا إزاي فيا ريت الصوت ما يكونش مضايقكم يعني. Okay. Well, when you open Microsoft Teams, you will find here posts and then files. Under the files, you find all the information you need for our class. So you'll find here the class material, and then any handout, any presentation, any recorded video will be posted in this by weeks. So I already have week 1 and week 2. I haven't posted all the presentation and slides for week 2, but for week 1 here, let's open it. You will find that I posted the syllabus, and here's topic 0, which I will talk about today, which is basically some data resources for Egyptian economy. Okay, so let's open the syllabus. Can you see my screen? Just give me like thumb up. Can you see my screen? Okay, good. Okay, so this course is Problems of the Egyptian Economy, and it's spring 2021. So my name is Dr. Ahmed Wassal Al-Rukh, or simply you can call me Dr. Wassal. That's my email. So if you would like to contact me, I think this is a preferred and appropriate way of contacting me. And when you send me an email, please send me an email from your university email. That is an email that's ending with .edu.eg. If you send me an email from Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, AOL, or whatever, I wouldn't even bother to open it. Just like for safety and security, I only open emails that send from a university email. Office hours by appointment. So if you would like to meet with me, just try to get an appointment. Like I said, you can just send me an email, or maybe after class, meet with me, say that, well, when can we meet? And then we can decide on the appropriate mutual time. So we're supposed to meet every Tuesday from 2 to 5. On even weeks, we will meet at 3 or 4. On odd weeks, we will meet remotely. Our learning platform is Microsoft Teams. So what this course is about? Well, this course is about selected topics that are related to the problems of the Egyptian economy. So to be honest, I cannot promise you that I will cover every problem of the Egyptian economy. I mean, because of time constraint, because also of limited knowledge. So I'm not an expert of every aspect of the Egyptian economy. So I had to be like selective, and then I choose 4 main topics that we will cover this semester. So poverty and inequality, so that should be like one topic here, and then unemployment, and then inflation, and government debt. Now, if time permit, I don't think time will permit because I barely will be able like to finish these topics, and also to give you like some time to do your presentations. But if time permits, maybe we'll look at water management and food security. These 2 are also interesting topics to study. So what are you going to learn by the end of this course? I mean, what's your learning objective, and what are the objectives that I'm targeting? Well, here to be more specific, I put them like in points. So first is that identify Egyptian data resources. I think we're going to do this today. Is that I would like you to know the basic. Not every data resource I will talk about, but at least you should know the basics. So today I will show you like how to get data from Central Bank of Egypt, some Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, and also you will learn how to use the World Bank Data Bank, which I think Dr. Shireen taught you how to use it. But let's go over it one more time. And something I don't think you have used it before is International Financial Statistics by the International Monetary Fund. Second objective is that you'll understand the major problems. Like I said, we'll cover like 4 problems. So you'll understand the major problems that are facing the Egyptian economy. And then you apply the tools of economic theory. So in your, so far, I mean, you have to learn like intermediate micro, intermediate macro. You have taken some abstract courses. And you might ask yourself, I mean, this is too abstract. How can we relate it to the real economy? So I think this course is a good opportunity for you to apply what you have learned and see how these are connected to each other. Evaluate economic policies pursued by the Egyptian authorities. So when we look at the specific problem, we will see like what the Egyptian authorities have tried like to do to mitigate this problem. But we'll also evaluate their efforts because there might be like the government might be like unsuccessful or successful in addressing this problem. So we will assess their efforts and these policies. The last point here is kind of like a soft skill. It's not like an economics objective per se. It's the soft skills that during this course you will have to do a presentation, and it is graded. So you will do a group presentation. So you will learn how to work with your classmate. I mean, you already have, I assume at this point you have already done this before, but practice wouldn't hurt. You will learn how to to work in group with your classmate, research a specific topic. I will give you like a list of topics, and then I will assign you to groups later on today. And then when you do research yourself, this is by itself is a skill that you will master. Also, you will present it. You speak in front of your classmates, so that's another skill. So these kind of like soft skills. It's not like an economics skills, but it's good like to learn. So course required material, there is no textbook for this course. I'll provide you with handouts. Handouts will be posted on Teams as PDF files. So I'll just show you like the first handout for like next week. Okay, so for week 2, I'm gonna use like a report by the World Bank, the Egypt Economic Monitor. It's in 2019. You do not have to study this report because that's like too much information for you to learn. I will only summarize the first section. I have done this. I already summarized this like in a slides. I will show you the slides. I haven't posted them yet because I need to revise them one more time. So hopefully like at some point during this week, I will post them. I'll show you like the slides so that you have an idea of what you study or what will you study. So like I said, I mean, there is no textbook. So you'll be studying like these slides here. And this will be your main like study guide. And during lecture, I'd prefer if you print them before you come to class. And you'll see like, because there is like some blank spaces where I'm gonna add more information. So you have to write it down because when the time comes for your exam, I'm gonna use the information I already gave you on the slide plus what I covered in class. So you need like this will be your main study guide. So there is no textbook for this course. I'm gonna post this slide for next week. Like I said, like in a couple of days, I just need like to revise them one more time. Going back to Microsoft Teams, just give me a second. Okay. So this handout, like I said, that's for your reference. So if you would like to read something over the summer after you graduate or in the future, you have it for your reference. So you need PowerPoint to prepare your presentation. And on the exam, you may need the calculator. I don't care what type of calculator you're using. I don't think we will have like tedious computation on the exam. I will let you know like ahead. Okay, this is an important disclaimer. Any handout that I post is a published work or a report or research in progress. It's done by someone or organizations or individual economists affiliated by some also known entities. So here, actually, so for example, like the topics we cover, like for the first 3 topics, I'm going to use a report so done by the World Bank. And then for inflation, so this is by the Economic Center of something studies, the Egyptian Center of Economic Studies, and this one is done by some economists at the Economic Research Forum. So the important point that I would like to make, these views, the views expressed in this handout represent those of the author, and they do not represent my own view. Okay, so my job here is to kind of like transfer or convey the knowledge to you from what they have or from what this organization or this economist think about the Egyptian economy. That does not necessarily mean that I agree with every detail in this, and I don't have to tell you like exactly what what I agree on and what I criticize. I just like transfer the knowledge to you. So feel free like to criticize any of the information mentioned in these reports or in this research. Okay. All our communication will be through Teams. So exactly like I did yesterday. So I'm gonna send you like a message here. So if there is like any change in the class schedule, or if I need like to remind you about something, I'll send you a message through Teams. If you have a question, feel free like to email me. Like I said, that's my email. And if you are going to email me, you have to use your university email. Microsoft Teams, so that's our learning platform. So a copy of the syllabus is available there. It's already, as you have seen, under files, class materials, and week 1. Any slides or handout I will post it like in the corresponding week. Also, after each class, we have to record it. That's like required by the college. So I have to record it, and then I'm gonna post the record in these folders. Okay, when you do your presentation, I'm gonna use Teams, and I will archive your presentation also by week. So if you present it in week 7, I'm gonna put your presentation on the folder for week 7. All right, the rules of the game. So the rules of the game is basically this is like the governing rules for how we should like interact with each other so that this semester will go smoothly. So first of all, during like our synchronous meeting via Zoom, please keep your mic muted. If you'd like to speak, please ask for permission. So you can raise your hand if you raised your hand and I didn't see it, and it's been like 5 minutes, you feel free like to unmute and then speak up. Also, do not interrupt another student while he or she is participating. So this is as a courtesy for your classmates. If someone is speaking, we have like to wait till they finish, and then I can like comment on this, or if you have a comment of you can also say it, but after they finish. I don't think it's polite to interrupt like someone in order for you like to speak. It is your responsibility to keep up with the material posted at Teams. So my job is to post the materials. I will send you notification as much as I can, but it's your responsibility like to check for each week what we have covered. So I'm not gonna like chase you and say that, okay, well, I posted like this presentation, you have to read it. So no, you have to keep up with the material. You're an adult. You're about to graduate in a couple of months. You have the right to ask any question that's related to the course. So this part I agree on, but usually students forget about the second part or the second side of this story, is that I also have the right not to answer any question I'm not feeling comfortable with. So if you ask me a question and I don't think Or, okay, like I said on the syllabus, if I'm not feeling comfortable answering this question, I don't have to answer it. I don't know is an answer. I'm not, like I told you early on, I'm not an expert on every side or every topic that's related to economics or the Egyptian economy. So it's very likely that you're going to answer me a question and then I will say, I don't know. If I find your question to be interesting, I will look it up and then I'll come back to you like in the following week and say that, hey, you remember your question? I think I found an answer for it. But sometimes you might ask me a question that's like too vague, and that scenario I wouldn't even bother like to look it up. So if you ask me that how can we get rid of poverty in Egypt, I just like rolls my eye and say, okay, I don't know. So it depends on the question. So I don't know is an acceptable answer. So that's my point. Also, no is an answer. So if you ask me something and I said no, no means no. No does not mean try to ask me again. Also, like I said, if I found your question, I'm not feeling comfortable answering it, I'll just say that I'm not going to answer this question. All of these are acceptable answers. So you do have the right to ask any question you would like to, but also I reserve the right not to answer a question that I'm not feeling comfortable with, or just give you an answer that you might not like. I mean, if I told you I don't know, I mean, like that's actually a good answer. I don't want to tell you something that's wrong, so I'll just say that I don't know. Hopefully, I wouldn't cancel a class, but given these uncertain circumstances that we are living on right now, it might happen. And in that scenario, I will, here I said I will email you, but I think that you don't check your email regularly as you check like the message or notification through Teams. So I'm going to send you like a message through Teams if this will happen that I will have to cancel, but hopefully I will not cancel a class during this semester. Okay. For course assessment, I will follow just like the standard grading scale by the college. So I think they assign you like, if you got like 90, you'll get like an excellent, 80 is like a very good. So I'll just follow the scale. I don't see any reason to deviate from the standard grade. Okay, your grade components will be participation. Okay, here I said this is a typo. It's actually one presentation. The reason is the presentations, because I was initially I was planning to ask you to do 2 presentations, but then I said, well, that's too much. Then I took out the 2 and forgot to take out the S. So this is a typo. So you have to do 1 presentation during this semester. I'll talk about this presentation like in a few minutes. Just hold on. And then we will have a midterm exam that's worth 20 points and a final exam that's worth 75 points. Attendance. Okay, I'm not going to take attendance. I mean, I wrote it here like in a very funny way. If you think I should monitor your attendance, then I'm afraid to tell you that your decision to matriculate at this college needs reconsideration. Excuse me. So exams, like I said, there will be 2 exams, a midterm and the final. Well, the final is cumulative. We will have 5 topics during this semester. I'll talk about the topics that we have in a few minutes. But the final is cumulative. I don't know the exams days, so the exam days will be determined by the administration later. Well, participation in this course will take place in form of a presentation, which is worth like 5% of your grade. In order to earn this point, you have to do you have to make a presentation during the semester, and this will be a group presentation. So this week, okay, let me show you. Before the coming Tuesday, I'll prefer if all of you signed up for a group and a topic. How? You go to Teams, under Files. Here, this is a class material, but this class material you cannot edit in, so that's why I put this Excel sheet outside. If you open this Excel sheet, you will find that I have 4 topics listed. This is mainly the 4 topics that we will cover this semester: poverty, unemployment, inflation, and government or public debt or government debt. For each topic, I need like 6 groups. each group has 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have like a maximum of 4 students. So when you fill out these groups, please start filling them like ascendingly from poverty, unemployment, inflation, and public debt. Oh, okay, when are the dates for your presentation? Not next Tuesday. We will start doing presentation the week after. I'll give you more details, but just hold on. Okay, so after being assigned to a group, so you'll choose a topic from the list of topics that we will cover. Like I said, we will cover like 4 topics this semester, and then you will work in your with your group members to prepare a presentation. So if you would like to refer like to the posted handout, that's okay, but it's not required. So the handouts basically the reports that we will discuss this semester. So, okay. It seems that I had like an internet connection problem. Can you hear me now and can you see my screen? Yes? Give me a thumb up. Okay, thank you. So if you would like to refer to any of these handouts, that's fine. But if you would like to look up for some external resources, that would be even better. And then you prepare a presentation that you will deliver either in class or via Teams. So it depends on which week you will deliver your presentation. I'll tell you ahead. Usually I'll give you like 1 week notice. It's not that I'll tell you that you have to do a presentation tomorrow. So at least I'll give you like 1 week. Your presentation should be like between 15 to 25 minutes. And here I'm sharp when I say, if I said, okay, you have like 20 minutes to do your presentation, I'll be strict about the timing. Okay, what happens if you are absent on your presentation day? Well, if you are absent on your presentation day and you do not have a legitimate excuse, you will receive 0. If you have a legitimate excuse, then your group will present on your behalf, and then they will tell me like your contribution. So they will tell me that, well, okay, of course they will tell me that you had like this legitimate excuse. Maybe you were sick. I mean, we're currently like on this uncertain time. So it's very likely that you might get sick, or like you might have like someone in your family who's sick, or whatever reason that you might have. But then if your group member said that you actually worked with them, but it just happened that you couldn't make it for the presentation day, then in that scenario, I'll give you credit. But if more than 50% of the group members are absent on their assigned presentation day, then the presentation will be postponed till the next class. Academic integrity, so cheating, plagiarism, submission of the work of others, etc., will not be tolerated. It's unethical and it's completely unacceptable at your level now. You're a 4th-year student, you're about to graduate in 2 years, so I don't, not 2 years, a couple of months. So I don't think it's acceptable that you cheat. Changes to the syllabus. So this syllabus is mine, so I reserve the right like to make any changes. I will give you a notice if I'm gonna make any changes. So next Tuesday, this will be in class. I am going to talk about, I'll give you like an overview of the Egyptian economy, like a snapshot of the Egyptian economy. So you know what's a snapshot? It's basically where if like someone likes taking picture like very quickly, so that's like snapshot. Or think of this as like a bird's eye view. So we will look at the Egyptian economy to assess its status. So I will look at economic growth, and then we'll say, okay, what's happening in the economic growth, whether the economy is growing or not, and at what rate. We will look at labor markets. We will look at the exchange rate. We will look at monetary policy, fiscal policy. So there's like a lot of topics here. So that's, I mean, for next week, we're not going to get deep on any of these topics, but we will get like a comprehensive overview of the Egyptian economy. I think that will be like a good start for the semester or for this course here. Is that you first need like to see how the economy is doing, and here I'm using a report that's done by the group of economists affiliated with the World Bank on July 2019. So it's pretty recent. And then we will know like the status of the Egyptian economy. After that, we will start like talking about each of these 4 topics, and you will do your presentation. So let's say that you're doing your presentation about like poverty and inequality, and then you will have like maybe like 1 or 2 classes like to present. I think 2 classes for you like to make your presentation, and then 1 for me to summarize these reports. You do not have to read them because the report is kind of like dense, and I'm not going to cover everything on the report. I will be selective. So you are only responsible, excuse me, you're only responsible for the material I cover in class, whether it's in terms of the slides I post or any information I add during the class. And this is very important because I need to distinguish between those who attend and those who do not. So if you look at, okay, let me show you this. Just gonna see. So this presentation, for example, I mean, this like a summary of the reports. You'll have like, you see, there will be like some blank space, like I said, and then I'll ask like what. I'm gonna answer this during the lecture, so you have like to write them down, and then you'll be responsible for this material on the exam. I'm not gonna ask you about the presentation you're doing. I mean, I don't think it's fair to ask you like to answer a question about a presentation that's one of your classmates is doing, because they might be more, or they will have like a comparative advantage over you. So in that scenario, I mean, like the presentation you will do, and you will receive this 5 percentage point, and then we're done. But what you are responsible for in terms of like this course, or like our assessment at the end of this course, is what I cover, whether in these slides or the information I add during my lectures. Okay. Just a second. Okay. My plan is to cover the first 3 topics before the midterm, but I think that's too optimistic because my first midterm is usually like on the 7th week. So this week we're kind of like already over. I mean, we'll just like do the syllabus, and I'll show you like some data resources. Next week we will do this snapshot of the economy, and then we'll have like 2 weeks where you do presentation on poverty, and then 1 week where I do like summary. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's already 5 weeks, and then maybe, yeah, maybe I'm gonna ask. Maybe, hopefully, I'll get like to unemployment before the first midterm. Well, I'll let you know. I mean, like if you will know if we couldn't like cover unemployment, then it wouldn't be like on the part of the first midterm, or like. But then we have like these 5 topics that I plan like to cover for this semester. So hopefully, I will cover them. So I think that will take me through. Yeah, I think that's it for in terms of the syllabus. Do you have any question? We're not done yet, I mean, but do you have like any question on the syllabus? Okay. So now I just want you try to open this Excel sheet, and then try your name, because I would like to make sure that you can access it and you can edit on it. I mean, my morning session here, my students like in the morning session, they were able like to access, but I would like also to make sure that you can access this file. So you know, if you like, hopefully like all of you try to access and pick a group now and pick a topic. Well, like I said, whether you do it today or like tomorrow, you have 1 week to finish this sign up sheet. Okay, so I can like see that like some of you were able like to access. So can you try your name? so that I would like to make sure that you can edit. Okay, Ahmed Tariq, could you try to type your name? Okay, I see like two students now like are typing on the same cell. I mean, you shouldn't type on the same cell. Like this cell is already picked by Ahmed Tariq, so the other student Ahmed Magdi, you shouldn't type on the same cell. You should type like on a different cell. Okay. So that means like we have like this, like 4 students will, okay, I only like have one of them signed up. So the 4 students here will be like in group 1, this would be like group 2, and so on. Okay, that's good that I see now you can edit this file. So like I said, don't forget like to sign up for this sheet before next Tuesday, because the following Tuesday you will start making your presentation. Okay. Now we move like to this topic 0. So I call it like topic 0 because it shouldn't be like part of our course. Yes, basically I would like to show you some selected resources for economic data and publications for the Egyptian economy. So usually I would assume that you know how to find this data yourself, but since we have time and I don't want to like give you like new material today, I thought okay to utilize the class time today for going over these resources. So we will look at data published and data and the publication by the Central Bank of Egypt, Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Planning and World Bank and the IMF. And you will have this for your reference. It's not just about this course. I mean, you can use this data after you graduate. If you are going to work like on a research center, if you plan like to do a postgraduate studies and you need some data about the Egyptian economy, I think you'll find them to be good list of reference. It's not a comprehensive list. There are other type or other like sources for data for the Egyptian economy that I haven't covered. But here I would say like I choose like the minimum or the essential list of topics that you should, or essential list of resources that you should be familiar with. So I will open the first one. Okay, just give me a second. All right, do you see my screen now? I mean, I'm sharing Google Chrome with you. So I opened the first link on like the Central Bank of Egypt, the monetary policy press release. Have you seen this before? Do you know it's like the MPC, like the Monetary Policy Committee? Have you ever heard of like Monetary Policy Committee? Hello? Yes, please. Ahmed Magdi, yes.
Dr. Monetary Policy Committee is a committee in the central bank, part of the Central Bank of Egypt, which is responsible for the monetary policy of the Egyptian economy. And it is held meeting every 3 months. They held their meeting and they adopt the monetary policy of the Egyptian economy for the next period.
Okay, so that's very good, except that they don't meet like every 3 months. They usually meet like 8 times a year. So that will make like every 6 weeks, so maybe like twice every 3 months. So, okay, and then after their meeting, because it's usually like a very important meeting, after their meeting, they have like a monetary policy report, but this kind of like dense, and most people just like go with this report. It's usually like 1 or 2 pages. So the report. Okay, let's forget about like the first paragraph, which is the most important one. That's why it's written in bold. And then they will just like give you information about like inflation, what's inflation been like in the previous couple of months. and how about like the real GDP growth in the previous quarters, and some other economic activities. Maybe also they will talk about unemployment, and then they will say their decision here at the very beginning that so they actually had a meeting a couple of maybe last week, March 18, so that was last Thursday, and then they decided that to keep the interest rate or the rate of their main operation on changes. So that's usually like a very important, okay, this is usually a very important meeting because the financial sector and anyone that's concerned with the Egyptian economy watch out what the central bank or what this monetary policy committee will do in regard with the interest rate. So we can actually look at the press release from like this link and from their website. And you will find here our archive for all the previous press releases. Another information that you will find here on my slide is that the Central Bank of Egypt have some time series data. So if you go here to economic research and time series, and also in my teams, okay, my slides and teams. I already have a direct link for you that for economic research statistics. So you can click on this one, or you just go like to the website and then go for economic research on time series. Okay. Have you used like this time series database before? Yes or no? I mean that database, like for the Central Bank of Egypt, they have like database for time series of like plenty of economic variables. Have you ever used it? Did any other instructor like cover this with you? Okay, Ahmed Magdi.
يا دكتور، كذا انستراكتور وكذا كورس كان عندنا ان احنا نعمل presentation using time series data from the Central Bank of Egypt.
Okay, so you're already familiar with this. So why are you the only one who's saying yes? I mean, like, what happens to everyone else? Okay, so you already know how to use it. Yeah, just like a quick refresher here. So you can go like under category and then pick, let's say that if you're interested like on inflation, and then you can choose like subcategory here, CPI and frequency. So it could be annual or quarterly or monthly. And then let's go with monthly. And then we have like all years, and then you can search data, and then you can get the data here. They will usually open it like as an Excel file, but you can copy and paste, or you can actually download it like maybe it'll copy and paste. They don't have like the option to download, but that's not like a concern right now. At least you know like where to find these resources. So you're already familiar with like the data, time series data of Central Bank of Egypt. Now, what's next is that I have well, Ministry of Finance, I wouldn't say that they have like a good like database, but they have reports, publication about the state budget, excuse me, state budget, and public debt, whether it's external or domestic, and then you have like the two links for them. So, so let me open one of them. So when you go like to Ministry of Finance and other like financial statement, so they have something that's actually very cool and it's very new. I'm not sure whether you have heard of this or not. So it's called like the Citizen Budget. So this is like a friendly to read version of the budget, and they started this like in 2014. And then when you go there, you'll find like all the information you need like about the Egyptian, excuse me, the state budget here. and how they are looking. I mean, what happens to their revenue, what happens to their expenditure, and how about the budget deficit. We will talk about briefly next time. We'll talk about the fiscal policy reform, and we'll talk about the public debt. But then the last major topic for this semester is the public debt. I have another handout for you that I listed on the syllabus, but it's good to know like how to get this publication from these sources. So we have the citizen version. If you would like to get like some information about the actual state budget, so you go here and you'll find it like by year. And if you would like to get like some information about like external debt, public debt, whether it's external or domestic, you can find like data here. So for like external debt, your report documentation, let's say. So that's like the outstanding debt here. Okay, these kind of like Euro bonds. So Euro bonds here are kind of like bonds that issued by the U.S. government, not the U.S. government, by the Egyptian government, but it's issued in the mainly in a foreign currency. So here, this is the one, or these are the ones that's dominated in the U.S. dollar. These one are dominated in euro, and then which one is listed? Each one is listed with its nominal value and maturity date and the rating. Okay. I'm not like a person who I'm not the best person to talk about money and banking, but are you familiar with these ratings? Like AAA, AA, or like BBB? It's usually covered like in a money and banking course. Okay. Anyway, you find like this and like all of the, like administrative finance, I would say it's a good resource like for statement, not like for database. They have like some economic indicator, but that wouldn't be like my first resort or first place to look at if I'm looking for data. But it's good if you would like to look at the budget itself and see like this, especially like this citizen budget. I really like it because it's easy. It's much easier to read than the state budget. Okay. Then after that we have the Ministry of, okay, let's see. Okay. We have Ministry of Planning and Economic Development. So let me open the first link here. Okay, so on the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development website, you can find, okay, under Planning and Monitoring tab, you'll find like here Egypt Vision 2030. So I'm sure that you have heard of this plenty of times. Maybe you're already like familiar with this vision, but if you are not, then you'll find it here like what are the objectives. So this is kind of like general objective of the government here, improving like the quality of life and standard of living of the Egyptian citizens. So that's like first objective. Justice, social inclusion and engagement, competitive and diversified economy, and so on. So these are kind of like general objective for these are the general objective for 2030 vision. But if you would like to look at the programs or plans themselves, then you go here, you find like we have like short-term sustainable development plan and medium-term sustainable development plan. I don't think, okay, not I don't think, I mean, we don't do long-term plans anymore. And if you open like any of these plans, it's like this, it's like 200 page, but okay, let's see, hopefully, okay. I don't think they have like a version in English. Yeah, this is, no, they do not. Okay, that should be good enough. So you'll see, like, if you are interested, like, to get information about like the short-run plans or the medium-term plans for the Egyptian economy, what they're going to do, like with the sectoral development. So that's mainly like for agriculture sector, manufacture, tourism. If you're looking here at the human capital, if you're looking also, so this kind of like mostly concerned with real estate and the urban development. So if we're looking at building new cities, so you'll see what the government is trying to accomplish. So you'll find these reports here. But if you're looking for data, I think you'll find them under this tab. You will go, okay, public here, no, this one. Okay, economic development, national accounts data. For national accounts data, we have like gross domestic product, public investment. So public investment, this type of investment or like project that's done by the government, as in contrast with private investment. We will talk briefly next time about like public investment and private investment. But here, like the gross domestic product, I would say if I'm looking for GB data, this will be the place I will look at. Because there's a Ministry of Planning and Economic Development that's usually like that's the one that's responsible for this like GDP. So I'll get like maybe like better or cleaner data than any other source. It includes the frequency, whether it's annual or quarterly. Usually GDP is measured on a quarterly basis. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure whether you know this or not, but I think that's a good like digression here. It depends on like the variable nature. Some variable are measured like on a monthly basis. Some are measured on like a quarterly basis. So unemployment, inflation, these two variables are usually measured on a monthly basis. GDP is only measured every 3 months, so that's a quarterly variable. So you wouldn't find GDP every month. So it depends on the type of the variable. So GDP is measured whether like annually or quarterly. So let's say that it's quarterly, and I'm looking for physically. Okay, I'm gonna choose all of them and all quarters prices. So this whether it's constant prices or current prices. So the difference. Okay, you should know this. Well, you should have already known this. Okay, let me actually ask you. Do you know what's the difference between GDP constant prices and current prices? I'm trying like to get someone else other than Ahmed Magzi. If no one answered, I'm gonna let you answer this question. But let's see. Okay, so here, Michelle Malak. Okay, yes, please.
Constant prices, it should be adjusted for the inflation rate, and current prices, it didn't adjust it for the inflation.
Excellent. Okay, so you have here, it's kind of like real GDP and nominal GDP. So most of the time, if you're doing like an economic research, you don't want to get your data contaminated with inflation. So you will take it out. So you will just look at the constant prices. And here I will look at GDP by expenditure component. So that will give you like, they already asked me. Okay, so they will give you choices, whether it's like private consumption, government consumption. So CGI plus net export. So I'm gonna pick like all of them, and then you can say like apply, and then you'll have like the data here, which you can download or export as an Excel file. So that's a nice, other nice resource for data. So it's not just that it has GDP. I mean, Central Bank of Egypt, like in the time series, they have sent GDP data. But what's like new here that you'll find in this website is that you can actually read about the economic policy programs and the plans and the vision, like in the Egypt Vision, like 2030 and its plans. Okay, so I think that's it for this website. Okay, and then we have the World Bank database, and I've been told that Dr. Shireen have taught you how to use this database. Is this correct? The World Bank database, data bank? Yes, okay, good. Do you want me to go over it like very quickly, or we still have plenty of time? Okay, let's take like a couple of minutes, go over it. And then we'll move like to the IMF data, which I don't think you have like seen before. Okay, so I already give you like a direct link for the data bank over the World Bank. So when you go there, you have like to pick the country. So it has plenty of countries, almost all countries here. I'll choose Egypt, and then you'll pick the time series. It's more than like 1,400 variables. So whatever like variable you are interested in. I'm just picking something randomly here. So I've seen like money, broad money. Okay, let's say broad money, current. Do you know what the LCU stands for? I mean, broad money, current LCU. Okay, so that's basically like local currency unit. So because the World Bank has data for plenty of countries, they wouldn't write like broad money and like Egyptian pound, broad money and like US dollar, broad money in Canadian dollar, broad money in British pound. So we just say that, okay, broad money, like how much money in this economy, and LCU in the local currency unit. And then it's understood by the researcher, excuse me, that this is a currency of the country. And then, okay, let's say that I would like to get broad money, and then you choose here the time. I don't have to pick all the years, so I'll just say, okay, let's get like the last maybe 5 or 6 years. I think that's enough. Okay, and now as you see here, we got the data. Well, 2020 is not available yet, so this actually tell you something, is that when it comes to economic data, it wouldn't be available right away. It usually takes time for these data to be published, revised, and then any economic research is based on this data will be delayed. And that's why the reports we're using for this course are 2019. It's still new, but it's not like the newest reports, because we have like 2020, and 2020 was way different from what happens in 2019. But we don't have data for 2020 yet, and there is no such report that's published, or at least a report that's relevant to this course that's published that I can rely on. So that's why I use like the latest report available, which is the one used published in 2019. Okay, so that's and then after that you have like download option, like whether it's like Excel. Okay, start like download now. CSV. Well, CSV also you can open it using Excel, but it's kind of like has different formatting. Doesn't have all the complication of Excel. But anyway, most people are familiar with Excel, so you can export it as an Excel file. If you would like to get more than one variable, so you go back here like to series and then check all the variables that you are looking for. So children and employment, for example, and then say apply changes. Okay, we don't have data for this. There is no mail. So should have this. Okay. Well, they don't have a data for this. Well, that's actually something that you might consider, is that not all variables are measured for every country. So you might find like this variable is listed for one country, but it's not available for another country. Another drawback for the World Bank data bank, which is why I showed you like the other like sources, like whether it's Central Bank of Egypt or Ministry of Finance or like Ministry of Planning, or I will show you like the IFS, is that World Bank data sometimes you don't find a low frequency data. So excuse me, high frequency data. You will only find, for some variables, you will only find like high frequency data, not low frequency data. Do you know what's the difference between low frequency and high frequency data? Okay. So a high frequency data, that's data that's being published on basically like on a high frequent. So if we consider like 1 year, so 1 year here, if this data, if we're talking like about GDP, is published only every year, so for each year you'll have only one observation, and you learned what's like observation in econometrics. So you'll only have one observation per year. So that will become like an example of a low frequency data. But if GDP, which is not, if GDP is measured every month, then for this year we will have 12 observations. So that will be a high frequency data. Of course, GDP is not measured every month, like not just in Egypt, it's on the US as well. I think almost like any country measures GDP on a quarterly basis. But variable like unemployment is measured every month. So that's like kind of like we would consider it as economists as a high frequency variable because you can get data for this on every month. Well, the problem with World Bank, even for some variables that are high frequency, you will only find data for them on a low frequency basis. So maybe you wouldn't find unemployment for Egypt per month. But if you go look for some Egyptian resources, you might find like unemployment per month published, like a monthly data for unemployment. So that's usually one drawback of the World Bank data. Other drawback, some people do not trust it that much. They say that the data is not like clean enough. So I'm sure that when you took econometrics, you have learned something about like interpolation. So some data, I mean, the World Bank, sometimes they do like interpolation for data, but it's still a good source if you don't have any other alternative. So if you don't have any other alternative, then use the World Bank data. But if there are other alternative that's like good, reliable resources, then you might try to use them. I'm not saying like the World Bank data is like bad data. No, it's still like people use it for their studies and for their researchers and still acceptable. But what I'm saying here is that they have like some drawbacks, which is like data may not be available on a high frequency basis. Okay, the last the last source that I would like to share with you is the IMF, International Financial Statistics. As well. Have you used this before? Yes. Okay. So some of you saying yes, they use it. Did all of you use it? Okay. Yeah, it just happened when I was teaching like the same course to the Arabic section in the morning. They said that they haven't used it before. So let me take you through this website very quickly. So the International Monetary Fund, they also have some international financial statistics that they publish. The difference between them and the World Bank data is that the World Bank data, you'll have more variables than you'll find at the IMF database. And the reason for this is that the World Bank, we already have taken international organization course. So they deal with different aspects of the economy, like at the World Bank, you'll find like children employment, but I don't think you'll find like such a variable here in at the IMF website. So it's like IMF database is mainly concerned with financial and macroeconomic data. And then let's say that I'm interested also not GDP. Let's try like I want to get interest rate. Let's get exchange rate. And then for country here, I'll pick Egypt. And then you get to choose like your timing. So here, like if you open like this little plus, you'll see like whether it's quarterly or monthly. So if you'd like to have it like on a monthly basis, already like marked here for you. And then if you're going to add like more years that's not highlighted, well, the website is already like set. The default setting is to auto update every 5 seconds. But in order to make sure that you're gonna get like the data you're looking for, just don't forget like to hit like auto update after you're doing. It's already like auto updates, and then you can export it to an Excel file, or if you're using like the older Excel, then you can get this Excel workbook 97 to 2003. Okay. So I think that will conclude like what I wanted like to cover today in terms of like resources. Like I said, this is not a comprehensive list. So these are the main resources for economic data that you can get data for like the Egyptian economy. Of course, there are other sources. It depends on the variable as well. So if you're doing like microeconometric study, I'm not sure whether you have learned some microeconometric techniques or no. But in that scenario, you need like cross-sectional data or banner data. Then maybe none of these resources is helpful. Then you will need to look like somewhere else. So if you're interested like for a specific topic and you'd like to get like data for it, you can always ask me. Maybe I will know it, maybe no. But if I know it, I'll just like tell you, or I'll try to look for a good resource if I don't know it. So that's in terms of like the data. So like I said, I mean, today is basically we're covering this, we're going over the syllabus, and we're covering some economics, I'm checking my notes. We're covering some economic data resources for Egypt. Next time, we will look at snapshot of the Egyptian economy. So you'll find here under class materials in week 2. So this is the report. You don't, like I said, you do not have to read it. I'm already preparing a summary for you, which I showed you like earlier on. I just need like to revise it one more time before I upload it to Teams. All right, so I think that's it for today. That was like a very brief lecture. Do you have any question for me? Okay, well, don't forget to sign up for your group presentation. Next week, we're gonna meet on campus, inshallah. And I would like to see like all of you signing up for this presentation by next Tuesday, so that I'll start assigning who's gonna present on the week after, because we will have presentation the week after. Okay, if you don't have any question for me, I think that's it, and I will see you next week. Bye.